here you can see the current overview of all trades that we took so far with the exact result and also the total accumulated money that we have made so far. A 20% increase on 14 trades is definitely pretty good. So I'm still very happy with the performance. Right now in this episode, guys, we need to find a few new good A+ setups to bring up the account towards potentially $700. At the end of last episode, you guys could see that we filled in limit long orders for a Woo long trade. I gave the exact analysis, I gave the exact entries, exact stop loss, and also exact take profit targets. Unfortunately, guys, Woo got stopped out, so not the best beginning of this brand new episode. The account is now around $600, which is still a 20% increasement. Unfortunately, even high probability trades sometimes still get stopped out. We saw a huge flush across the entire market after Bitcoin tapped into a new all-time high. And as you can see over here, you can see the loss on Woo, $37 on Maxi. Like I said, it was time for a brand new position. As you guys can see on the screen right now, is that we are in a profitable Chainlink long. Let's dive into the analysis. What we can see over here on Link, in my opinion, is a very clean chart. We have a very clean range with pivot number 1, pivot number 2 for the range high, and then over here pivot number 3, pivot number 4. So we have 4 pivots. Mid-range is getting respected very well, and that is always a sign that I look for in order to get a high probability range. After the deviation of the range high, we rejected the range high, and then we went for a deviation beneath the range low, and the deviation bounced from this bullish breaker block over here and then reclaimed the range low. Now that to me is always a trigger to start looking for longs. Then over here we can see that it reclaimed the mid-range. On my first entry was a bit of an aggressive one. It was at the retest of this small break of structure over here, where we had a mid-range level over here as well. And then my second entry over here is around the range low area. It's not only the range low area. If we check the daily time frame, we can see that we formed a big wick to the downside on the daily time frame. We know that these wicks tend to get filled at least for 50%. And if we take the 50% level of that wick fill, that with 50% level of that wick aligns around that range low area. And that is where I have my second entry. And then we have 3 targets towards the upside where we have buy side liquidity resting on the higher time frames. And the first target is around $24.34. Now the trade is running in a bit of profit after we got filled overnight. Now we might still go towards that second entry, but I'm hoping that as long as that range low area holds, that this range starts breaking out, then we start expanding higher on Chainlink, hopefully offering us some massive profits. We are risking a total of $20 on this trade. So let's see how this trade plays out. We might hit stop loss, but we might also hit a profit target. A lot has happened over the past few days and I really didn't have any time to update, but currently we have hit stop loss, as you can see over here, on an ocean long position. We got stopped out of break even on a Chainlink long position, in which I already explained the reasoning for the Chainlink long position. And currently we just got filled on a brand new Atom long position, and we have orders ready waiting to get in on a CRV long position. So after Chainlink got stopped out the break even, I decided to enter an aggressive ocean long over here. I was spotting this very clean range with pivot number 1, pivot number 2, pivot number 3, and pivot number 4. Deviation of the range high, followed by a deviation of the range low. I saw consolidation above the range high, and I was seeing that we were holding onto that range high and shifted structure to the upside over here on the 1 hourly time frame. So I was seeing a lot of AI coins that started pumping pretty heavily, and Ocean was lagging behind, and I was expecting Ocean to start playing catch up with the other AI coins. So I went in with an aggressive market entry, but according to my system, guys, I should never ever use a market entry. But I did let my FOMO get into the way a little bit over here. I saw a big potential RR trade. I was spotting a potential breakout, and unfortunately the price wicked into our stop loss first and then started pumping to our first profit target. Lesson: always use limit entries and stay true to your system no matter what. Never let your emotions get the better of you. And even I sometimes still struggle with that, as you guys can see, and I should not have taken this trade. But on the other hand, we just got filled on a beautiful Atom long position overnight over here. What we see over here on Atom, if we zoom out, is a beautiful potential reaccumulation range. Pivot number 1, pivot number 2, pivot number 3, high probability range. We can see that after the first breakout above the range high over here, that turned out to be a deviation. and it went take out the sell side liquidity of the people that opened up, breakout long position over here, put their stop beneath this low, or this low. The price went and took out the stops beneath all of those lows. Then it reclaimed the range high again, and then usually according to my system, that second reclaim of that range high level should hold. So what we were seeing over here was a beautiful inducement of that breaker block that we have over here. So previous supply that failed to hold the supply when we tested it, with a bullish fair value gap aligning with that previous supply area, turning into a bullish breaker block, I would say. And that is what we call a unicorn setup. Now the breaker block aligns with that range high level. And besides that, we can also see that the EMAs on the 4 hourly and the EMAs on the 2 hourly time frame were aligning very, very clean with that bullish breaker block. So I decided to put my first entry at the top of the breaker, second entry where we have some low time frame sell side liquidity, and I have very ambitious targets over here. Because higher time frame, we can see that we have buy side liquidity resting above these highs over here, and even higher over here we have some more buy side liquidity. But my main take profit target will be over here around $16.69 in case we get there. What have I done right now is that if we go to the lower time frame, we can see that we had this local hour 1 downtrend, right? We form a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now we form a higher high. So we've shifted structure on the 1 hourly time frame. So what have I done? I tightened my stop loss to the local low. Now, if that stop loss at the local low gets stopped out, we only lose $3 on the account. So what have I done over here? Because of the break of structure, I entered another long position over here with a market entry, using the same stop loss, same targets, and we are risking $7 on that new position, which means that if our stop loss now gets hit, we lose $3 on the first position, $7 on the second position, and $10 in total, right? By doing this, in case we do pump from here, in case we do push higher from here, then we are compounding profits like crazy. So it is a bit of a risk, and I'm not doing this on my main trading account, only on the challenge account. But if it does play out in our favor, then we are compounding profits like crazy. And last but not least, guys, you can now also trade Woo, Bitcoin, and other crypto pairs on PrimeXBT. They are now finally offering crypto futures trading alongside trading commodities, Forex, and more. Definitely one of the most trusted exchanges out there. And if you want to sign up, make sure to use a link in the description down below and you will get a 7% deposit bonus. We have this CRV trade waiting to get hit as well. What we see over here is also a beautiful reaccumulation range. Range pivot number on the range high number 1 over here, pivot number 2, pivot number 3, high probability range. Same setup as for Adam. We see a deviation above the range high that leads to a sweep of the sell side liquidity over here. So the breakout long positions over here got punished. And then after taking out those sell stops, we reclaimed the range high again, shift structure to the upside. And right now what we see is a bullish fair value gap on a 4 hourly time frame that aligns with that previous bearish fair value gap on the 4 hourly time frame over here, right? And the previous bearish fair value gap got invalidated with that very strong green hour 4 candle over here that created also the bullish hour 4 fair value gap. So that inversion aligns with our high probability bullish hour 4 fair value gap, and both are aligning in the discount of this impulse towards the upside, right? And we know that we always want to enter longs inside of the discount and shorts inside of the premium. Now what we can also see is that this discount area and these fair value gaps are aligning with that very pivotal range high. 100 EMA on a 4 hourly time frame slowly starting to align, 200 EMA on a 4 hourly time frame slowly starting to align, and on a 2 hourly time frame we can also see that if the EMAs want to quickly load, is that we have some beautiful EMA alignment on the 2 hourly time frame with both the 200 EMA and the 200 moving average. So, quick summary. Right now we have orders waiting to get hit on CRV. We have a trade running on Adam with only $10 risk. We removed that second entry, we tightened stop loss, and we added another long position. Now if that trade gets stopped out, then I'm hoping for CRV to get hit. If we pump from here, then Adam should make us some very, very nice profits. The account is worth around $587, which is still very, very nice profits. To end off today's episode on the $500 to $10,000 trading challenge, we are going to enter one more trade, which is on Solana. So currently we have Adam running in a bit of profits. We are waiting for the CRV order to get filled. And we have one more trade over here on Solana in which we have a beautiful sweep of this low over here. And why is this such a beautiful sweep of the low? Because this consolidation phase was taking place above this high. And many people thought that this consolidation above that high was bullish. So they started opening up breakout longs. They need a low to cover their stop. So they are putting their stop beneath this low. They get wrecked, the low gets swept, then we expand higher, and that expansion higher shifted structure to the upside over here on the 4-hourly time frame. So the daily trend is up, our 4 trend is now up as well, and then on the 1-hourly time frame we see something very interesting being developed over here on the Solana price, because if we analyze local price action, we form a high, higher low, higher high, lower high, lower low. Then we pump it up, shift structure to the upside. So that final pump up also shifts structure to the upside on a 1-hourly time frame. After that shift to the upside on a 1-hourly time frame, we see a fake break of structure over here, and we see a fake breakout over here. Now the people that break out long because of these fake break of structures, where are they going to put their stop? Exactly, they're going to put their stop over here. Why over here, not over here? Because they want to use a tight stop loss, because people are greedy creatures and they want the biggest RR possible for the long trades. So that means that we have liquidity resting beneath this low. Now beneath that low where we have liquidity resting is also where we have this bullish hour 1 breaker block, which is where I have my first entry for Solana. Besides that hour 1 breaker block, we also have this lower time frame range, deviation of the range low, deviation of the range high. The second entry is at the retest of the range low level. We have a very clean invalidation beneath the low of that deviation over here, and then as a target, I'm targeting new all-time highs for Solana.